Hi, I'm Betsy. Welcome to CAM Matters. Today we are going to be talking about management, the different types of management that boards can choose, and the licensing requirements for those they hire. Come join us.
Welcome to CAM Matters, Condos, Co-ops, HOAs, and beyond. Betsy BARBIEUX is an informational leader in Florida on community association living, rights, and obligations. She is an expert on the rights and obligations of owners as well as the association. If you live or are planning to live in the state of Florida, there's a good chance you'll be part of a community association. And by the end of this show, you'll know a little bit more about community associations and why they matter.
Hi, welcome to CAM Matters. I'm Suzanne Lynn with Betsy BARBIEUX, and today's show we're going to be talking about, managers and what an important part they are to community association living, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe the first thing we need to start off with is, what is a manager? I think a lot of us didn't even realize that there's such a title.
There is, and it is a huge industry in Florida, community association management, and there are so many people who have no clue that it exists,
right.
And almost no one grows up saying, I'm going to be a community association manager.
Right.
Most people don't grow up saying that because they don't know it exists.
Exactly.
It's not something that really is even emphasized for attorneys in law school. They have to really work toward. They have to know about community association law, because it's very specific. Realtors deal with community associations in that you buy and sell in our communities, but a lot of them don't really understand. So there are a lot of managers that do have dual licenses, a real estate license and a CAM license.
Okay.
And when I'm saying CAM license, I am meaning Community Association Manager, CAM. We are licensed by the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, Division of Professions in the state of Florida, which means if we do things that are not good and complaints are filed against us, then that the state will impose some sanctions or fines or penalties, reprimands, or revocation of our license.
So how does the manager fit in regarding the board? What role do they play?
The board of directors has options for managing. And it doesn't matter how big or how small your community is, the board has options. First option is they can volunteer to do everything all by themselves with no professional management at all.
Okay.
Now remember, earlier show, we talked about a multi-million-dollar corporation.
Run like a municipality.
Exactly. Yeah. And so there are a lot of statutory regulations, especially for the financials and for the meetings. So if volunteer board members feel like they know all of those,
I mean, I laugh because there's a lot.
And can implement them correctly, because there are penalties for boards who do things wrong. And
ignorance isn't an excuse.
No,
right?
Ignorance is not going to be an excuse. And depending on which kind of community you are, whether you're condominium, cooperative, or homeowner association, some of the things that boards do wrong have now been classified as criminal penalties instead of civil.
Wow.
So it's kind of a big deal. So if boards want to handle those meeting procedures and financials by themselves, they certainly can. But when you get tired of that, and it's too much to bear, which I am finding happening in some of the older communities that have been self-managed for years and years, they're worn out. And the newer, younger adults, even younger senior adults that are moving in, they don't want to spend hours managing their community.
And laws are changing, right?
And the laws change all the time.
Right, sure.
And then people move into your communities who like to buck the laws all the time. So then you've got other legal issues and things to take care of.
And you're the bad person.
Yeah. So the other options are the board can hire a management company. The management company has different services that they can offer. They can do bare minimum, which would be the financials each month, which means they would be paying the bills, making the deposits, and then do the monthly financials, bank reconciliations, year-to-date P&L statement, balance sheet, and would make sure that the accounts receivable are low and that you don't have too many people owing, and would conduct a couple of meetings a year and would help you with those. From there are different levels. For this amount of monthly contract price, we'll do this amount of work. For this amount of money, we'll do this amount of work. For this amount of money, we will provide full-time management. We'll put people on site. We'll have a manager on site. We'll have a bookkeeper on site. We'll have a maintenance crew on site. I mean, some communities have the management company provide a lot of personnel.
So in that regard, are they an employee or are they on contract?
No, in that regard, the management company is contracted by the board. So the board would sign a management contract with ABC Management, and then the employees, the people who are working on the community, would be employees of the management company. And I have to say, though, you should know this by now, for everything I say, there's an exception.
Right.
Because sometimes I have seen where the management company employs these personnel, and the association employs these personnel. So for everything I say, there's an exception. And for every community and almost every manager, there's a different form of management style.
But the fact is they all need to be licensed if they're a manager. Is that right?
They do. And let me give the third option, and then we'll talk about what you need, if you the license that you need, depending on what you do. The third option for a community association is to employ their manager. And they can employ staff. So that means payroll deductions, quarterly filings, all those things, just like regular payroll. So the manager can work directly for the community association. There is no requirement that a manager, a CAM, place their license with a management company. And some people think that they have to, but you don't. In real estate, a real estate agent has to place their license with a broker. But we don't do that here. In community association management, I have a whole lot of colleagues that are independent managers. They work directly for the association. That's their one job. They have an office to go to, 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week. And they go to, during the storm times, it's a lot more than 40 hours a week. And as an employee, then you should have benefits. So you should have, insurance, paid time off, all those employment practices, things that you're supposed to have. And some communities provide even more. 401ks and some things.
That's nice.
Some,
people are going, where do I sign up for that?
Not many. But some do take very good care of their managers.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's come back because we've got some really important topics to hit. We're just going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new career? Do you have skills or interest in management, real estate, construction, maintenance, accounting, strategic planning, project management, budgets, human resource management, lawn and landscaping, pool services, or any other expertise needed to operate a community association? If you do, community association management could be for you. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Florida Community Association Management continues to grow. Career opportunities abound.
Okay, welcome back to CAM Matters. So we're talking about management and managers when it comes to community association living. And we kind of started talking about licensing and what's needed in that regard.
We did. We talked about the three ways that communities can manage themselves or hire out management. But CAMs in the state of Florida are licensed. And it's a big deal because we are... You as a board member are handing off to us the tasks of your fiduciary duty. So we are partnering with you in managing a multi-million-dollar corporation. It has a fiduciary relationship, which means the board and the manager are to act in the best interest of the association. No personal agendas.
No?
How about that?
What?
Yeah.
Everybody needs a manager then in that case.
So we need to avoid the personal agendas. The licensing law requires that manager applicants complete a 2-day class, and I'm going to say, unfortunately, the requirement has been reduced by 2 hours, and I think it should have been increased, not to be
well, you know what goes behind
fulfilling
it.
here,
Right.
but the amount of material that has to be presented to the manager's test prep class can't cover it in 18 hours, much less 16.
Can we just repeat something from the first half of the show when you talked about the laws and how it's now you can have criminal? Did you say? I mean,
Some of the penalties that have been made criminal are for misdeeds of the board of directors. Now, obviously, stealing money is a crime.
Right.
But there are other things that boards can't do, like forgery of a ballot, withholding records, those kinds of things, that some of that has been kind of classified as criminal penalties instead of civil.
Well, the reason I say that is by taking 2 hours away from the class, there are real ramifications that can happen without the right information.
And yes, but the class we're talking about here, the 18 now 16-hour class is for managers.
Right.
And it prepares you for the test.
Right.
And I'll be a little self-promoting here, but I do have a lot of classes for after you get your license, because all the 18, now 16-hour prep class does is gets you through the test, the state exam. The rest of it is on-the-job training, because you're not going to get any of the information in any other regular schooling or education. It comes from life. The statute says that if you are paid, remunerated, which means given value of any kind, and there are some managers who work for no money, no pay, but part of their job requirement is to live on site. They're provided a condominium unit.
So they're still compensated.
And so it's remuneration, even though it's not money. But if you are remunerated and you are managing a community that has at least 10 units, 10 or more, or a combination of small communities that total 10, or a community that has a budget of $100,000 or more, which is easy, which is real easy to get to.
That's like 5 houses.
Or if you're managing several small communities and their budgets total $100,000, and you're doing any one of these tasks, and I'm going to read these because there are some of you out there who are practicing without a license. And you need to get yourself licensed.
So if you're doing these jobs.
If you're doing any one. Any one.
By
of
law,
this list.
you need
If
a license.
you're being remunerated and there are 10 units or $100,000 budget or more in any one of these. So pay attention because some of you really need a license. Don't get reported.
Right.
If you are controlling or dispersing funds of the community, if you're preparing budgets or other financial documents, if you're assisting in the noticing or conduct of the meetings, if you're determining the number of days required for statutory notices, if you are determining amounts due the association, collecting amounts due the association, calculating votes so that you can determine a quorum or a vote on a proposition or amendment, if you're completing forms created by a statute or state agency, if you are drafting meeting notices and agendas, pay attention, a lot of you are doing this. If you are calculating, preparing certificates of assessments and estoppels, if you're responding to requests for certificates of assessment and estoppels, if you're negotiating monetary or performance terms of contract prior to approval by the board, if you're drafting pre-arbitration demands, or if you're coordinating and performing maintenance. So there are a lot of people who are being remunerated. Their by a community that has more than 10 units or a budget of $100,000 or more, and they're doing at least one of these.
I mean, I was surprised just to hear something as basic as organizing meeting notes.
Yes.
You know?
Meeting notices. The thing about the meeting notices is the timing. There's a statutory timing for how and when they're going to be posted, and there's also a statutory how they're posted and given out. And, managers are the ones who are supposed to know that. If a board is self-managing, you can have your meetings thrown out and decisions that were made thrown out if you did not do the timing correctly.
So, Betsy, I know that you're not one to boast. You won't talk about yourself. You're very humble. But I think this is really important for you to share how you can help communities with management and licensing and things like that. Talk about your classes for me.
Shameless promotion here. Shameless. I love training. I love managers.
You love what you do.
I love what I do. Yeah. I love what I do. And I think managers are about the smartest people that I can be around.
Oh.
They're just great. And I'd like to do as much as I can to make your job easier. So I try to provide high quality, lots of information-packed classes. I do have the continuing ed. Managers, once they get their license, then they have to have X number of hours of continuing ed, which again has changed from 20 to 15, which is not good.
Right.
This is such a highly specialized industry, reducing the educational hours. And I don't mean to be self-promoting here, but reducing the hours was not the way they should go.
Right. But you cram a lot in your classes.
But I cram a lot in the classes, and I feel like that I offered classes that are different than other providers. You won't know, but there are a lot of pest control people, there are air conditioning people, plumbers, roofers, pavers, electricians, security companies. They all provide free continuing education classes, and they're like 1-hour classes. And they're good. I can't compete with free.
Right.
I'm a trainer.
Sure,
I'm a training company. So mine are not free. So what I have is the value added of the depth. And also, I am huge on networking. The more people that we can share information with, the more people we can glean information from, the more we can get together and network. We need, as managers, we need friends because people are yelling at us all the time.
It's terrible.
It's terrible, but they get yelled at a lot. And you need friends. And sometimes you encounter a problem that you think no one else has had before, but I'll guarantee you, if your network is big enough, you'll find somebody who's already figured out a way to resolve the problem, and just pick up the phone or email or text them, and they'll be right there to help. Managers that I know are the most helpful, sharing, kind, giving that they can be. But we have what I have settled on, since I have so many competitors for continuing ed, I've settled on a fabulous, fun-filled, jam-packed, information-loaded, network-heavy,
oh my gosh,
food-heavy 2-day event to satisfy all your continuing ed requirements. So when you come to our annual event, I call it the Yearly Educational Summit. Yes. When you come to the Yearly Educational Summit, you'll get 2 days of good information, fun, networking, and we socialize a little bit.
There you go. All right, well, give us information. How do you sign up?
FloridaCamSchools.com is our website. Okay. And actually, you know what? Our event is next weekend.
Oh my goodness! Now this is September of 2019.
This is September. So depending on when you listen to this,
that's right.
You may still have time to sign up.
Awesome.
Or depending on when this show airs, you may have time to sign up. But I do have also a once-a-month class in Leesburg called CAM Quick Start. And that is for managers who've gotten their license and they've probably been working for maybe 6 months or so, and now they're totally confused.
Okay.
And it's a full day of coaching, whatever you want to learn. I have nothing to present to you.
Okay.
But it's whatever questions you come with. And I encourage you to make your list,
Sure.
come to CAM Quick Start.
Sure.
And since we're at my office, then we have the opportunity to actually look through electronic files and see how they're labeled and named. We'll look through paper files and see how all of that is organized.
You got to sign up. That's all there is to it. She could go on and on.
CAM Quick Start is really cool because it's just it's all about you. It's a day for you.
I like that. That's good. All right. Well, go to cammatters.com and find out more. You can hit up Betsy directly and get into those classes because they are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to CAM Matters. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. For more information, feel free to email Betsy at betsy@floridacamschools.com or visit the Florida Cam Schools website at www.floridacamschools.com. Information provided on this show is general in nature and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact a licensed attorney for your specific situation.